Hey everybody, this is Frank Nares,
This is Dennis Ragland.
and we are outside the squared circle, and this is going to be our first podcast. We're both moderators of the Facebook page Modern Boxing USA. We'll put a link in our description so you can go ahead and give us a like. That would be wonderful. Um, so just to give a little background about ourselves first, I'm from Chicago. I've been a boxing fan since I was about 5 or 6. I'm 22 years old now. So I've been following the sport for a very long time, and it's a passion of mine. So if Dennis, you want to give yourself a little background.
Yeah, I've been following the sport for a while now. You know what I mean? I've been watching since I was a little kid with my dad, and you know what I mean. From there, the passion grew. I even done a little bit myself. So, as you told, we run a site, USA Modern Boxing, and we're gonna be doing this podcast to give you our thoughts on everything about boxing.
And for our first topic of our podcast, obviously we got to get out the obvious out the way. We're going Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao. Obviously, as many boxing fans know, well, all boxing fans should know that the fight has just been made official. They're fighting at the MGM Grand on May 2nd, 2015. So the first thing we're going to touch on is how we feel about the fight. Now, I know a lot of the boxing world is absolutely ecstatic about it. Everyone's going crazy. You got the casual fans going nuts, the hardcore fans going nuts, but I'm just sitting over here in a corner like the fight should have been made 6 years ago, man. I can't lie to you guys when I'm not exactly the most excited about it at this point. I'm actually very, very bitter about it because I felt like in 2009 and in 2010 that these two dudes were at the absolute best of their game. You're talking about the best defensive fighter in the world going against the best offensive fighter in the world at that point in their absolute primes.
I
So,
agree.
so for me, the fact that the fight didn't happen then, it just leaves a very, very sour taste in my mouth. So, I mean, I can't say that I won't get excited as, as the shit talking starts going and the interviews
Yeah,
start rolling
absolutely.
in. But at this point, with the fight just being made a week or so ago, I'm just still bitter about it. I'm very, very bitter about it. So, what are your feelings about it, bro?
Well, like you said, well, to be honest, I agree on certain points, but I disagree with the ending of it because I agree. 2009 they were both at the peaks of their career, so hey, it would have been a great fight then. But to be honest, I think it's going to be a better fight now, and the reason why I believe it's going to be a better fight is simply they have slowed down just enough, both of them, for the fight to be competitive.
I could see that.
And Mayweather's great defensively, and he uses a lot of movement. And with that, I think he would have been able to dodge a lot of many shots and been able to just really just pick him off like a sniper. I'm not saying that by any means that Floyd Mayweather has lost his legs, but I believe he has slowed down. So with that being said, I believe that Manny has a chance to actually catch him a few times. So that's going to make the fight a little bit better. And we already seen, hey, we seen Manny, he got stopped by Marquez. But it wasn't the first time it happened, but it was more vicious than the other time that it happened. So
Yeah.
this actually shows a bit of vulnerability in both of them. They both show, hey, they have flaws, as we seen with in the second fight with Maidana with Floyd. And the third round up, the end of the third round, I believe it was, he got hit with a vicious shot.
Yeah, that
And
thing.
we all know Maidana is certainly not the fastest boxer
Yeah.
there is. So my thinking is if Maidana caught him with that, Manny throw like 8 punch combinations. Like he's definitely gonna have his chance to touch Mayweather quite a few times. So that's why I believe, and I'm a little bit anxious. Like even though I would have been probably more happy then, but since I had to wait and it's built up, I'm really a little bit more ecstatic because I feel like they're perfectly flawed enough to make this a very competitive fight.
I can't be mad at that train of thought at all. I don't think that I'm bitter about how much they have fallen off since, and not to say they have much. They're still the cream of the crop when it comes to anywhere from 140 to 154. I mean, we can just throw that out there. I think the thing that I'm bitter about is like,
absolutely,
is that negotiations never really happened. So the fact that the first time they actually sat down and talked to each other, it got done. It's like, what are the excuses that it couldn't have got done in 09 and 2010?
Absolutely.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, and it makes you wonder, like, was it just both of your big egos? And then Bob Arum and Al Heyman not being able to come together, and all it took was one dude from the CBS CEO, I forget his name, Les Moonves, I think his name is. It takes one dude to come in and intervene, and bam, a deal gets done. Like, come on, like, I think that's what I'm most bitter about, is the fact that I feel like they really didn't even try. It was excuses on both ends. Oh, take the testing. Then Bob Arum comes with, I don't like needles, and then, oh, the testing is agreed to, and it's too. And I'm not the one to call someone a ducker. I wasn't in the negotiations. I have no idea. I'm just mad that excuses were flying from both ends, and it couldn't get done. And now all of a sudden they finally sit down face to face, and it's done. You know?
Absolutely, and what I believe is I think it was a little bit of ego and pride in there. You know?
Yeah.
I think at the particular times they were both so high. They had people that they had to follow. Yeah, they had a lot of people to fight. So I believe both of them had a little bit of the mentality that I don't necessarily need the guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it'd be nice to fight him because he's considered the top. I'm considered the top, and they make big money. But you know what? I'm still me, and I still can make big money with anybody. But we have now gotten to the stage where it's either they got to fight each other or really what are you doing? So I believe that they hit the crossroads where they had to fight each other. They had to say, you know what? Let's actually try to figure a way for this fight to happen. They had to, sit down and actually talk. And like you said, if they had done that years ago, they probably would have got it done then. But since they didn't, it continued to both sides had points of, oh, he don't want to take the test, or I want 50-50. They both had their things where it was stopping a fight from getting made. And the reason why they let it prolong that long, I really think it was because they felt like they didn't need each other. But now, they need each other more than ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So to segue, since we got a little bit of our thoughts out on how we feel about the fight, we're going to go ahead and, since as of now the fight has not been titled, or the event, I should say, has not been titled, we're going to go ahead and maybe try and think of a clever name. So maybe if Bob Arum is snooping around YouTube or something, he can get a few ideas from us. So Dennis is going to go ahead and lead us off with some things, or maybe a few suggested titles of his for the fight.
Well, honestly, I believe Floyd has a better chance of snooping around, or one of his money team members can see this before Bob would. You know what I mean? I don't know if Bob necessarily a YouTube guy, but I thought of a couple of names. And, hey, look, this is just me thinking. If y'all think it's corny, it's hey, you know what I mean? I understand, but me, I was thinking they can go for. I don't know if it's copyright now, but I like the title "Best of the Best," or like everybody's saying, because the build up was so great, the anticipation was mounting so big to this fight. It can just be called "This Is It," because that's what everybody's like. Is it finally, like when we heard the first negotiation? Like, is it it? Is it it? Then they'll let you down and say no, it wasn't true. And is it it? Is it it? No, Floyd, no, I mean, he's on an all-star game saying, not yet. So now, finally, this is it. And lastly, I think they can even call it King of Kings, because they're both respectively, and rightfully so, can be called the king of that division. So it's the king against the king, so the King of Kings. They'll be my three options that'll be the title for the pay-per-view. I mean, I don't know if they can go wrong with either three of them, but hey, y'all tell me what y'all think out there. Hey, get in the comments, let us know. But I'm going to pass out to Frank. Let me know, Frank, what you think.
So I'm thinking, now this is just me here. I'm thinking that the fight is going to be called the Battle of the Egomaniacs. And Now, I think it's that way. No, I'm kidding. No, in all seriousness, though, I think they're gonna go with something simple. Even though I do like the things you said, Dennis, and the names you came up with, you had very good reasoning for them. So even if they pick something similar to what you had said, it's completely understandable. But I think they're gonna go with something more along of like the event, or something to make it seem like it's bigger than boxing. Because you've already heard Bob Arum speak on it. You've heard Floyd speak on it, where they're not talking about this is going to be a great fight, they're all saying this is going to be a great event. So it's clear that they already know, right? It's clear that they already know that this fight is beyond boxing. This is going to draw in people who've probably never even seen a boxing match. So I think they're going to go with something.
The casual fans will be out that night.
Oh, and it's going to be a damn shame to see everybody on Facebook that don't know what the hell they're talking about. But yeah, no, I mean, the casual fans are going to be out.
Like, yeah, remember Pacquiao knocked out Vladimir?
Yeah, oh, Jesus. But yeah, I think they're going to go with something simple like the event or something along those lines. I can't see them, or something like you mentioned, things like that, where it shows that this is the fight of all fights. This is the cream of the crop. This is it. So I think they're going to go ahead and go with something along those lines.
I agree with you. You know what I mean? It got to be something that cover the whole spectrum of, because we're not sure what the undercard is going to be. And we're actually going to get into that next. We're not sure what the undercard is going to be, but whatever it is, I'm quite sure they just ain't going to pick some regular. You know what I mean? I believe every fight that's on this card should be a championship fight. They should be fighting for something. I don't believe you should just be having two guys just play rock'em sock'em robots in the ring. This should be an event. This should draw in the people from miles. It's already going to do that, just these two. But this should just to make it even bigger. The undercard should be great, and this is going to be a great experience. This is going to be an experience of the lifetime. This fight, if this is going to be one of the fights 20 years from now, you're going to be sitting back and you're going to be thinking, you're going to be feeling a little nostalgic, and you're going to say, man, I remember that fight with Floyd and Mayweather. I remember the exact time I was at and what I was doing. It's going to be a story you can tell your kids. You know?
Absolutely.
You're going to be asking, where were you when this happened?
Right.
You know, just like the big things in history, you thinking anything else, you're thinking, remember this? What was you when that happened? Like,
so on to the undercards. To the best of our knowledge, I haven't heard any of undercards being finalized. We've heard a few rumors here, a few rumors there. But as of now, we're going to go ahead and discuss what we feel like would be great undercards. Now, first and foremost, the thing we do know is that there's going to be two undercard fights. One's going to be with a TMT fighter versus TBA, and one with the top rank fighter versus TBA. So TBA is getting the double duty once again. But on a serious note, what I would, in an ideal world, I would like to see like a Leo Santa Cruz versus Rigondeaux. You know, maybe an Andre Ward comeback fight. Maybe even a Miguel Cotto versus a middleweight or junior middleweight fight to put his titles on the line. Things like that. But I think in reality, what we're going to get is two subpar fights, because I feel like at the end of the day, with all the money in the pot, I don't think Uncle Bob, CBS, and Al Heyman want to pay a large sum of money to these undercard fights. And I think, how can you really argue with that logic? I don't think you can really fault them for that with all the money that they're piling in with Floyd and Pacquiao just between those two fighters. So I think we're probably going to see a Mickey Bay fight, maybe a Jalen Love fight. But the fight I think is a really good fight that I think is very possible for this card, and we had talked about this in the past, Dennis, is maybe an Amir Khan versus Timothy Bradley fight. I mean, that fight's long overdue, man. I mean, they've been shit talking each other since 140 pounds. I mean, they from the public side, it seems like they don't like each other, or at least the competitive nature in them won't allow them to be friendly with each other until they do get it on. So I wouldn't be mad at that fight one bit. But I think a more realistic fight.
I agree on that one.
Yeah, but I think a more realistic fight from the top ranked standpoint would probably be maybe unless Brandon Rios fights Miguel Cotto, maybe a Brandon Rios versus the winner of Matisse and Provodnikov, which I wouldn't be mad at all with that fight. But those would be my kind of ideas. Like I said, in an ideal world, I think Leo Santa Cruz versus Rigondeaux would be awesome, and I'm not too fond of anyone from TMT, so they would just have to be on there. I have no real recommendations for a fight with that. So we're gonna go ahead and segue to Dennis and see what he thinks about the undercard fights.
It's gonna be one top ranked fighter and then one TMT fighter. And you know, I'm okay with that idea, to be honest. Really, I'm okay, because you know what? You can take a guy from both of those promotions and you can put him on a fight with somebody. They could be good fights. I mean, because it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know what I mean, the huge or the biggest name out there for this event. For like we said, for it to be this is the event. For it to be really great, you know what I mean? Like, because we've seen fights out there that, well, it's not the biggest names, but wow, weren't they great fights? You know what I mean? So my thinking for undercard fights, so if I had to pick one from say a top ranked fight, I would love to see at this point. I would like Reagan Dow and probably like Abner Mares.
Oh, that's a good one.
But I know he's already getting ready to fight. He's getting ready to fight. Yeah, so it's getting close. So I don't know if they'll probably be able to do that because I know Mares is about to fight soon. But another guy from top rank that I would love to see fight, Timothy Bradley and Brandon Rios. I mean, I think just getting them two to go on there and go at it, that'll really be great. You know what I mean? So I really wouldn't be opposed to any one of them. Or I heard that Terrence Crawford, he's getting ready. Like he's moved to 140 and he's getting ready to fight for the WBO. But I haven't heard an opponent. So why not get Crawford and Vargas? You know, Vargas was supposed to get the what we was hearing that if the Floyd thing didn't work out, that Vargas was gonna get the assignment. So hey, let's let Vargas fight on the card. You know, Vargas and Crawford 140 for the WBO.
That'd be a good one.
You see what I'm saying? Like there are fights exactly. Those are fights out there to be made. That you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be the biggest of names, but you know what? Those will still be spectacular fights. And then from TMT, I mean, I would love to see like Jalen Love take a nice bounce back. And I haven't heard Andre Ward really talk about any opponents or who he's gonna fight. And at this point, I just want to see Ward get back.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. He's such a brilliant fighter.
I know he wants to tune up. You know what I mean? Just because he has been out for quite a while. So I agree with that. You know what I mean? He needs to get back in there and get acclimated back. You know what I mean? Get his feel along with the ring rust off. So why not allow a guy like Jalen Love to get an opportunity? I would love that fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that'd be a great fight. I even was hearing the thing like Jalen Love can fight a guy like Jesse Hart.
I wouldn't mind that.
That's a TMT guy versus a top ranked guy. You know what I mean? So
no, that would be awesome.
Be a spectacular fight.
That would be really good.
You know, so I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. You know, any of those fights would really be great. You know, as far as Mickey Bay, I never mind seeing him because the guy's just really skilled. He's a really skilled fighter. You know what I mean? So I don't never mind seeing him at all, but I don't know at this particular time unless he's looking to unify. Because I haven't really heard anybody call Mickey Bay out. That's usually you hear people come at the champ like, hey, I want this, I want the opportunity.
Yeah.
I haven't really been hearing too many people that's really like, come on, let's do it. But I wouldn't mind seeing him, against any of the guys out there with a belt that looking to unify. I think that'd be great against any one of those guys. So, you know, hey, like I said, I think every card should be for a belt. So if they can't get Jalen Love, against Ward, that'd be my dream fight. If they can't get that, then hey, let Mickey Bay go in there and unify, because I believe this particular time that he can, you know?
Yeah.
He has the skills to compete against anybody at 135, I believe.
No, I agree with you. And just like you said, they don't even have to be the biggest of names. I mean, we have the two biggest names in the sport going at it. So exactly. I'm looking for more quality fights. And just like you said, there's plenty of fights to be made. I'm just hoping they make some pretty good ones.
Agreed. I agree with you there. You know what I mean? Whatever fights we do see, I just want them to be the fights, you know what I mean, that you remember, because it was a build-up. I want every fight to get better, like from the first to the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want it to be like the fights where we up, you know what I'm saying, making popcorn and talking and hanging out because nothing's going on. And announcers have nothing to talk about. They're like, so, did you go golfing yesterday?
Yeah.
I want to be glued to my TV until it's time for the big action.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you see, and I think where the conflict is with that, what making really good undercard fights is, one, you have Bob Arum, who completely disagrees with undercard fights. He just says the fans don't like them. And I think
I heard that.
Right. And I think secondly, though, what you saw with Floyd versus Canelo when they fought a couple years ago, was they stacked the undercard. I mean, you had Lucas Matisse and Danny Garcia going into the two best 140-pound fighters, and then Floyd Mayweather and the best 154-pound fighter and Canelo going at it. So they really stacked that card because they really wanted to sell it. They really wanted the views. I think that was more so a Showtime thing, really trying to get their money back with, because I know Floyd didn't have a good showing with Guerrero when it came to the pay-per-view buys. But I think that's what plays against this pay-per-view and making good undercards, is because you could have a cockfight on the undercard, and this fight is still gonna break. You know what I mean? It's probably gonna break the 3 million pay-per-view buys mark. So I think that's where the conflict begins. Is like, why stack an undercard when you don't need to? The buys are already gonna be there. I think that's what could be their mindset.
If they went that way, I agree with them. But like the fights that Ben, you both named, I don't know if they would break the bank. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if having Jay Leon Love or having him versus a Ward, or the fight that you made, if you had like a Leo Santa Cruz versus a Rigondeaux, I don't know if those would break the bank. You know?
Right. I agree.
I think all of those fights are doable. I think like even Brandon Rios and Timothy Bradley, I think those fights are doable.
Now, obviously, what would our first podcast about Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao be without us giving you some predictions? I mean, the fight is finally on. So, me and Dennis, being boxing fans ourselves, we have to have a prediction, correct? I mean, the fight's been hyping up for 6 years, been brewing for 6 years. So, we're going to go ahead and get Dennis's opinion on what he thinks will happen.
All right, everybody, listen close. I'm going to tell you. And you might find this a little bit unbelievable who I think is going to win. The winner is going to be, really, did I believe? Honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like, right, being real, I'm a little bit undecided. Like, as time get closer, I'm definitely gonna pick a winner before the fight happens.
Right.
But right now, I kind of teeter back and forth. Sometimes I'll say, you know what? I think Floyd has slowed down just enough to what Manny's speed in his combination is going to overwhelm him. Then I go back and I do a little bit more watching and thinking, and I say, nah, I don't know if Manny's that. He just never been that smart to me. Floyd's going to get this guy a boxing lesson. He's going to make him look like, he's not in the same league. And so I go back and forth to the point where, honestly, I don't know. And I'm happy about that. This is what makes this fight exciting. And this is one of the only times since Diego Corrales that I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know who can win this. It could really go either way. I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, Floyd's going to win. And you got the people that's going to be like, nah, Manny's got this. That's why Floyd avoided him. I don't know right now. But like I said, the fight get closer. I watched him train a little bit. I think on a little bit more, I'll come to a conclusion. But right now, man, I'm just excited that I don't know. They keep this fight so exciting and so vibrant. You know what I mean? It's just, I just can't wait, you know what I mean, for it to happen. But as of right now, I don't know. What do you think, man?
I'm almost in the same boat as you, but mine is for different reasons. Now, had the fight been made in 2009, 2010, 2011, that time frame, I always solidly believed that Manny would win. And I thought, and when I say that, though, please, everyone listen, and don't take this as me saying, oh, I think Manny would have killed him. No. These are the two best fighters on the planet, arguably. So there is no one would have dominated the other in my mind. I think Manny would have won based off styles. I've always felt the style that really troubled Manny is the counter puncher that isn't afraid to fight fire with fire. You've never really seen someone outbox Manny from the outside, pot shot him, throw only one punch at a time. When you see the Eric Morales fight, when you see all the Juan Manuel Marquez fights, you're seeing dudes who aren't scared to take a shot to give their own, and even sometimes take a shot to set up something in the future. Now, I'm not saying Floyd Mayweather won't do that. I'm just simply saying we haven't seen him do that. So in my mind, I think that in 2009, 2010, that would have given Manny the advantage then. With that said, now he's been almost compassionate. He doesn't seem, and I'm talking about Manny here, he doesn't seem to want to hurt his opponents anymore. I mean, when you saw the Pacquiao that fought Miguel Cotto, when you saw the Pacquiao that fought Ricky Hatton, when you saw the Pacquiao that fought De La Hoya, you saw a bona fide killer. And ever since...
Yeah, he was hungry, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems that hunger has left him. And the time we did see it back was in the fourth fight against Marquez, and he got laid out flat. So with that said, he after that fight, after he's been knocked out, he seems a little bit more gun shy. He seems a little bit more calculated, which is good. But is it a good game plan to go in against Floyd Mayweather and be calculated? Because I don't think anyone in the world can outthink Floyd, or at least in his division and in surrounding divisions. So with that said, that's why I'm at an undecided part with the whole thing. I really don't know who's gonna win. And just like you said, as the fight continues to grow and continues to get closer, I'm gonna pick somebody. There's no way I'm gonna be here night of the fight like, oh yeah, I still don't know. No, I'm gonna.
You're
right. I'm gonna come to a conclusion here soon, and we'll podcast that as well once we both do come to conclusions. But at this point, to me, it all depends on how much they both have left in the tank. Does Floyd have his legs? And even to a bigger point, how much did Maidana take from Floyd? Because the first fight was damn close. I had it. The first time I scored the fight, I had it 6-6, and then the second time I scored it, I have it 7-5 Floyd. So that's a very close fight, and Floyd ate a lot of punches in that fight, more than we're accustomed to. And in the second fight,
Did he knock his tooth out the second fight?
It looked like it. Some people said it was spit. Some people said it was a tooth. I don't know what it was, but that was a damn good punch that Maidana landed. And he had him on Queer Street. I mean, let's be honest here. He hurt him with that punch. Had there been a minute or so left, that would have been interesting to see how Floyd would have handled that. But with all that being said, I want to see how much Floyd has left. I want to see how much Pacquiao has left. And I preface that with saying who I would have thought in 09 and 010, because if they are both at that same level, if they can both kick it back into gear to where they were in 09, I do think Manny would win the fight. But at this point, it's just too close for me to call, because I don't know how much either has left in the tank.
I agree with you. It's going to be very interesting to see what transpires, because at this point, it's any man's game.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's about as 50-50 as it can get. And I thought that way in 09 and 2010 as well. It's just that I had a conclusion for them because I thought about it so damn much, because it would have been the biggest fight of its time. But I mean, it's as 50-50 as it gets for me. And we're gonna see two style clashes that are gonna be a beautiful thing. We're gonna see two dudes that are, two of the best to ever do it. Obviously, the two best of this generation. So, I mean, just the event in itself is going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Hey, man, I can't wait. If I get any more excited, you know what I mean, I'm just going to combust.
Yeah.
So right now, this is why it's fun to talk with you out there. And you know what I would like you guys to do? In the comment section also below, I really would like you guys to go out there and tell us, who do you think is going to win? Please, everybody, be objective. Don't just rush in because one is your favorite fighter. Really think it out. Actually, why do you think they're gonna win? Let us know, you guys. I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the same boat. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and it would be ideal if you guys wouldn't just leave one word like Pacquiao's gonna win, Floyd's gonna win. Give us reasons why. Help us decide. Hell, we're both having trouble. Go ahead and give us some reasons why you think, and that might sway us by the time we make another podcast talking about who we think's gonna win. So yeah, if you guys could comment below who you think's gonna win, if you could share this podcast with your friends and your other friends that love boxing and things of that nature, that would be great for us. And like I said before, we're gonna go ahead and put the link to our Facebook page in the description. We're already about 2,500 strong on there, so that's great. You guys can come join us. We have good conversations on the daily with that. We put up pictures, we put up questions and polls and all types of cool stuff. So if you guys can do that, man, that would be wonderful. My name's Frank, as you can see with the Uvu name right above. That's Dennis over there. We'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, man. Thank you guys for listening. We hope that we were able to get a few thoughts going in your mind and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it to Dennis if he has any last words.
No, the only thing I can say is, hey, Facebook, Modern Boxing USA, check us out. We the best. We the best on Facebook. I gotta say that we growing. We're gonna continue growing. Look out for our shirts are coming soon. We're gonna have our shirts on our website coming soon. Also, so hey, get ready for us. We pretty soon we're gonna start an Instagram for Modern Boxing USA. We're growing. We getting there. Hey, stick with us. We can grow together.